What's up YouTube, Capital G here. We're talking Cosmos in this video. Konami has been ever so gracious to update their official TCG blog, and we now know of some of the new Cosmo cards that we're going to be playing in Dimension of Chaos. We already technically knew of Wickedwitch's existence. We knew her name, we knew her artwork, which is, I still can't get over how badass the artwork is. I just like the idea of there being villains in the Kozmo archetype, and this one has the dual-sided lightsaber that looks, it's just reminiscent of Dark Maul, who I absolutely loved in episode 1, and the fact that she's dark is even cooler. But then we now know of Kozmo Dark Destroyer. That's her spaceship, I guess, as opposed to Forerunner, which might be, maybe that's Wickedwitch's spaceship, or maybe that's Farm Girl's spaceship. Regardless, we do know that there is going to be there's going to be a Kozmo equip card. We have no idea what it does, but we already, like, it was already spoiled a long time ago. Now we have the full effect of Wickedwitch. We know her stat line now, and I want to talk about this. Now before I do, before I even read these cards effect, I assumed that both of them were going to be good, because I think Cosmos, more than pretty much any recent TCG archetype, I think it's just destined to do good things. I think that this is one archetype where Konami is not going to let it fail. I think that they're going to be 2015's equivalent to Burning Abyss, and you know, decks like maybe Noble Knights and the Ultra Athletes, like they did get support and they were successful on the regional circuit, not on the YCS circuit. I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that the new Star Wars movie is coming out this year, The Force Awakens, and Dimension of Chaos and Force Awakens come out pretty much at the same time. So like, what better way to build hype for an archetype than to base it around this huge mega franchise like Star Wars, and then coincidentally Star Wars is coming out the same time as this archetype. Like, it makes sense. Like from a marketing standpoint, I mean, it is practically genius. So I don't think Konami, it's not in their interest as far as selling cards to make this archetype fail. So let's look at these two cards. We have Kozmo Wickedwitch, which is instantly my favorite Kozmo. Like, I know that there are 5 other Kozmo cards and they've all been great so far, but I'm sorry, this one is instantly my favorite just because of the artwork. She is a dark psychic. Okay, she is her stat line is 1900, 300. See, that's what I'm talking about. How difficult is it, guys, for us to just get 1900 level 4 monsters with good effects? Like, it's not that hard, Konami. Okay, this card's stat line is already pretty good. During either player's turn, you can banish this card, special summon 1 level 5 or higher Kozmo monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Kozmo Wickedwitch once per turn. Alright, so that's pretty much standard. That means that she can summon Dark Destroyer, she can summon Slip Rider, she can summon Forerunner. I mean, that's standard because, like, you know, Farm Girl and Wickedwitch, like, all have that effect. So the whole just being able to get a big ass monster from your hand effect, it works well with the Cosmos effect. Well, I guess continuing with her effect, once per turn during either player's turn, you can pay 1,000 life points. This turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or effects. This card is, you know what's funny? She's almost good enough to be splashed in other decks. Like, if you were just gonna build like a generic like stun deck or just a generic beatdown deck, wouldn't this just be a good card to splash into it? Like, anytime you run into a Bottomless, or anytime you run into a Mirror Force, a Torrential, a Ring of Destruction, Regeki, whatever, during either player's turn, you just pay 1,000 life points and it doesn't die. Or if your opponent tries to run it over in battle, like, you get the Saver for 1,000 life points. Like, this card is amazing. Not just in this archetype, but just in general. This is like a great standalone card. It's probably arguably the best standalone Kozmo card. Like, Wickedwitch requires an attack to really, like, or not, excuse me, yeah, Farm Girl requires an attack to really, like, win. This card is just good on its own, and since Forerunner gives you 1,000 life points per turn, like, life points really aren't that big of an issue for Cosmos. Like, they can get them back kind of easily. And then we have Kozmo Dark Destroyer. This is a level 8 Dark Machine. Okay, so maybe some of the synergy with, like, I guess, Sacred 7-Star Sword, which some people don't even run anymore, that might be out the window. But the limiter removal, obviously, is still in play. 3,000 attack, holy crap, 1,800 defense. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 monster on the field, destroy it. Continuing on, it cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effects. If this card is destroyed by battle or a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 level 3 or lower Kozmo monster from your deck. Okay, so this card is also really good. The stat line is a little better than Forerunner. It doesn't give you the 1,000 life points, which actually is really good in Cosmos because a lot of their effects cost life points. But it does get to blow a monster up the second it hits the field, and it is like Leo. I mean, you can't target it by any way. Well, your opponent can anyway, which is all that really matters. I guess you can book a moon your own Kozmo monster if for some reason it was going to run into like a mirror force or whatever. But the important thing is this card not only hits the ground running by blowing a monster up, which is completely optional, but it also allows you to, you know, it pays for itself when it dies. I mean, now its targets are a little more limited than Forerunner. You can only get level 3 or lower, like, which right now just means it means farm girl and nothing else. But the fact that it gets you a farm girl is still pretty good. Like, I would consider this probably like a one of. Like, I definitely run the card because of the utility. But if I'm looking at both of these cards, like, I'd probably run like 2 Wickedwitch and one Dark Destroyer, which it makes you wonder how chaosy this deck is going to get, because if you're running maybe 3 or 4 of these copies of these 2 cards combined, and I mean, now you got to talk about adding BLS into the deck and maybe being able to just completely wreck your opponent, because Kozmo's already has a very high ceiling when it comes to OTKing, because like your big machines are, you know, 2,000 plus, and you can run limiter, and Farm Girl essentially searches one when she attacks. But now you're talking about throwing BLS in the deck, and now you're talking about being able to end games consistently turn 2. So I think the deck is just getting better, and I think that it's going to be around for a while, because until all the Star Wars hype dies down, I don't think Konami's going to let this deck be bad. So let me know what you guys think. These cards are both fantastic, and for anybody who thought they were just going to be bad, like, why? Konami's not going to let this deck succeed, or they're not going to let this deck fail. And all the cards that Kozmo already have, which is only 5, like, they've all been good. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching as always.